You guys know me and my CG animal cartoon movies. If one hits the theaters, I have to race out and go see them. And the latest one is the cast of thousands in Storks. This one stars Andy Samberg as Junior. We've got Jennifer Aniston in there playing a very cool workaholic mom. We've got Ty Burrell playing a workaholic father. They're both real estate moguls who never stop. We've got Kelsey Grammer in there as this big CEO of the Storks named Hunter. And Keegan-Michael are in this movie. It's crowded. There is a lot of stuff going on. And I got to tell you, for the first hour of Storks, I just felt like, okay, just shut up, movie. Just stop with all these subplots and different characters and different ways that we're getting into the non-stop zaniness of it all. But then it started to calm down a little bit and wash over me, and I started to enjoy the experience a lot more. And I think the credit has to go to the overseers of Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who brought us the Lego movie, and who now seem to be deeply entrenched in almost everything that Hollywood is animating these days, including the upcoming Lego Batman movie, which looks great, by the way. But yeah, this movie is a little bit too much, just like the Lego movie was just nonstop and in your face with gags and jokes and crazy things to look at and all kinds of licensed goodness. This kind of felt like that, but it was all sort of made up for the fiction of Storks. The high concept of this movie is that the Storks no longer deliver babies to families. Instead, they've decided to go the corporate route and become kind of the new breed of Amazon. And they deliver all kinds of packaged goods to happy consumers and put big smiles on the faces that way, and that has driven profits way up. We get introduced to a character named Junior, played by Andy Samberg, who the boss, Hunter, wraps his wing around and says, one day you will be boss if you take care of the wrinkle in our plan to drive profits through the roof, and that is an orphaned human that was a baby that grew up to be a problem within the Storks organization named Tulip, and you have to get rid of Tulip. So he says to Junior, you got to fire this girl, this human girl, who wants nothing more than to join her Stork brethren and deliver packages to everybody. So it's a little bit like, what's happening? This is so crazy and weird. Then you get introduced to one of several villain types in this thing. You get introduced to this crazy Stork character that tried to keep this orphan baby because it fell in love with the baby. Then you meet some awesome wolves that also fall in love with the baby, and they've got a bunch of fantastic sequences in this thing. They travel in a pack, and this wolf pack can convert themselves into anything: bridges, boats, cars, minivans. It's crazy, and I won't spoil any more, but it's really fun when they're saying wolf pack, form of a bridge.
Wolf pack, form of wolf bridge.
Basically what happens is that Junior and Tulip end up creating a baby that they got to deliver to a family, and now we also get this subplot of this family. It's this little boy named Nate who has his workaholic parents, and he wants a little brother so that they can have some fun with. He sends the letter to the Storks, and the Storks go crazy trying to figure out what's happened. There's a baby. We don't do this stuff anymore. And so we go down that road for a long time, and it's like suddenly there's a whole bunch of different stories that we're trying to follow in this crowded movie. But, you know, I think the sentimentality of the thing kind of swoops in at the end, no pun intended. You do spend so much screen time. It felt like a beefy, long movie, especially for an animated flick. It didn't zip by. It felt like it was breathless in how much stuff is thrown at us, but there was meat to this movie. It went on for a long time, so a lot of screen time for each of the characters, and by the end of it, you do kind of fall in love with every single one of these characters, and that's a tremendous feat. There's also this kind of sci-fi gloss and gleam that's been attached to this movie as well. Like, the Storks actually have all of this automation through their factory to help them ship packages better. And the idea that the Storks live and work at the top of this huge, majestic kind of castle thing, and then it's like this big shipping container has been turned into this enormous factory, is a crazy image, but somehow it kind of works, and this sort of magical, crazy realism at the end of the movie all kind of crystallizes and makes sense for us.
Wait, why are you running so weird? What don't I know? My old nemesis, glass.
It's a little relentless. It does beat you over the head with its gags, just like the Lego movie did. It doesn't have quite this sort of, heart punch and the truthfulness of some of the storytelling that we saw in the Lego movie. And it's definitely not a Pixar movie, but I don't think it's a cheap sellout CG thing either. I think that this has actually been crafted with a real intelligence and some wit. And there's some really funny bits in here, some good gags. I think all of the actors do a decent job with this thing. And, I think importantly, none of the actors, as famous as they are, pulled me out of the movie, where I was trying to pick and spot the voices and call out who these actors were, which was great, The story kind of rambles and jumbles and clumsily gets going, and it almost feels like a wolf pack of a movie with all of this crazy stuff around all of the plots and the characters, but by the end of it, you're kind of digging it, and I didn't well up like I do in some of the Pixar movies, but I certainly I got the feels and I laughed, and I think that this was well done. I'm going to give the Storks movie a 7.5 out of 10. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.